As much of an Enfield enjoyer as I have been for the past few months, and with the release less than a week from now, there's been a question nagging on the back of my mind. And you've probably guessed it from the title of this video, but I don't think that question means a whole lot on its own. You see, as someone who's played a long list of gacha games and found different frustrations for each and every one of those games, I've conceded to some extent that gacha games just weren't my thing if I can't find enjoyment without selling off one of my kidneys to buy characters I didn't even like. The hesitation to play these games is understandable, but yet again, I've found myself drawn to start another adventure, this time in Talos 2. So far, I really think Endfield has the potential to be the best gacha in 2026. And in an effort to convince you to give this game a shot, here's all the reasons why Arknights Endfield should not be overlooked. I've been focused on gameplay for a lot of this channel, and so let's actually do something a little bit different today by analyzing the story for this game. Now, I haven't played Arknights for many years now, so forgive me if there are lore elements I'm not aware of. But I'm going to be focused on the presentation of the story and comparing it to what's available from other games. And here, by far the biggest thing I've noticed about Arknights Endfield is that the story is delivered in a very practical way. It's incredibly easy to read through and stay immersed, mainly because the characters don't talk in riddles. The reason I haven't liked the story writing in other games, Star Rail, is because most of it feels like fluff and the characters are often talking around things.
I no mind, for this forgetfulness happens with each new dawn.
I'm right about with them. The two birds in the desert and me. Who will die first? I won.
You evoke memories of an old friend. In the haze of my recollections, she stood shoulder to shoulder with me. Much like this surreal dreamscape where we stood close yet forever out of reach.
Whereas in Endfield, the dialogue feels more colloquial, making it easier to understand and immerse yourself in. This is a personal gripe I have for Yap Fests because there are plenty of players who would disagree with me there. But what I will say is that the way Enfield's story is told is incredibly refreshing. So fingers crossed that they'll keep up the purposeful story writing, because the short glimpse I got during the beta has only increased my excitement for the game. The way they've written the characters as well, they're all really fleshed out with their own unique personalities, and I haven't found myself bored with any of the main story so far. It's difficult to pinpoint exactly why I felt this way, but I think a big contributor is the fact that each character has their own window to shine, without having the entire story revolve around them, which I've found makes the story feel extremely boring when it's like a full story arc highlighting characters you're really not that interested in. I also appreciate that they've included skip buttons in case players aren't particularly interested in any specific part of the story. I would imagine it would mostly be used for side quests and filler stories in events, but if the story writing ever deteriorates to a Yap Fest, I can't express how helpful having a skip button is. So this is a great feature that's going to prevent a significant amount of the burnout I've experienced from other games. That being said, I think you should play through the main story because this game slaps. But what really amplifies the story in this game are the graphics and aesthetics. There's no way around it. Endfield has one of, if not the, best graphics of any gacha game that we know of at the moment. And you can maybe say that Silver Palace has next-gen graphics that arguably look even better than Endfield, but at the moment, that game is very unpolished, at least in the animation department, so I would reserve my judgment until it gets closer to release. But when it comes to aesthetics, Endfield has knocked it out of the park. Case in point, I would only need to point at one character, an operator that's a 4-star by the way, whose design already has a lot of fans. And this game also benefits from having a lot of variance in their operator designs. I mean, you have a panda for crying out loud. And looking at their limited characters, I think their revenue charts are going to do just fine. But it's not just the characters. When I look at the thematic consistency across their UI elements, I mean, I feel like I'm just playing Genshin Impact all over again. Everything's so polished and menus flow in and out. Like, if it's not already clear, I love the heck out of this game. I've already covered the gacha and combat elements of this game in other videos, so to spare you from repeating the same information, I'm going to be mentioning things that I haven't before. I think the gacha is as expected when it comes to these types of games, where it seems like it's going to be slightly more generous than all the high-budget gachas that have come before, which is kind of funny when you think about it because it feels like all the gacha companies are trying to undercut one another. But that's why competition is good, right? I'm all for it. I just want to see where the limit is when we finally have like a dozen AAA quality gachas to choose from. But when it comes to combat, I will say, if it was their goal to make combat feel less lonely in a single-player game, they've done it. Like from the way your characters will chip in compliments when you've defeated a mob of enemies,
An easy victory.
to like warning you that a strong enemy is nearby. I think it's chronically online to say this, but I really felt like that made a difference to me during the closed beta. When you add that in with what feels like a perfect blend of mechanics and strategic thinking, I really think Endfield is cooking here. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy my high-intensity games, but Endfield is like the perfect daily game for me. As far as I've seen, there aren't enemies that force you to use specific types of characters, but I still think there's going to be an incentive to horizontally build out characters rather than vertically investing in one or two teams. The farming to build out these characters is also streamlined through the AIC, which trivializes certain materials. And then there are the important resources, which are mostly marked on the map for you already, so there's no need to use third-party sources to bookmark resource locations. I've found that the only thing you would really be missing are specific flowers, but the game will tell you where the nearest ones are from the item description, and the AIC can also endlessly reproduce any kind of common flower. When it comes to the open world, ziplines significantly speed up travel time, and getting to build your own base that interacts with the world gives a sense of ownership and belonging to the world, which I think other gachas have sorely lacked. I mean, there was this whole talk about how players were concerned that the AIC would turn them off from playing the game, but I think this system will pay off in the long term for collecting materials. I've actually made a video simplifying the AIC, so check it out if you haven't already. So where do I think Arknights Endfield will stack up against the other gacha titles in 2026? Well, their pre-registration numbers look solid. I've played the game, and it's amazing for all the reasons I've listed throughout this video, and the company has a successful track record with the original Arknights game. So I think this game is going to be a massive success. If you're planning to be an Endfielder, make sure to like and subscribe because I will be covering the heck out of this game. So as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.